Discovery class. Has anyone ever told you the meaning of the adjective original? Listen to this is the Oxford Dictionary. Here's what it says. Original means first. Original means earliest. It also means never having been before. Did you know that's you? You're an original. You were born a gift from your mom and your dad. Very unique. One of a kind. You were prepackaged and you were born for an assignment. Did you know you were on an assignment? And into your makeup, you were given the tools to complete the job. Some time ago, I took a flight. And when I boarded the plane was full. We all took our seats, everyone got out a device, and there we were in silence. The flight attendant, she took the microphone and she told all the different things about the airplane as we were ready to go, its safety features, and if we had to have an emergency, where I'd go. Before she sat down, she said to the audience, "I have something I want to give you." And she broke into a song. She had the voice of a trained opera soprano. And she sang a few words from Oklahoma, the musical. And she sang, "Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I have a wonderful feeling everything's going my way." Do you know that plane burst into applause? There was hooting and hollering. The lady beside me, she said, "What was that?" I said to her, "I don't know, but I think I could stand more of it." I said to myself, that young lady is an original. I'd never had any flight attendant ever do that for me on any flight that I'd ever flown. In Galatians 5:26, the book says, each of us is an original. Now let me ask you the question. If you're an original, how would you say you're doing in life? Are you content so far? Here are some disturbing statistics. Unhappiness on the job now affects more than 1/4 of the workforce. Further to that, 1/4 of employees view their jobs as the number one stress in their life. Is that true of you? Here's something more annoying. 7 out of 10 people, they lack motivation for their best performance on the job. Well, it gets worse. 43% of employees feel anger towards their employers. They don't like their boss. One study I read said the problem at work is really more associated with your health and your own personal well-being than any other life stressor. Do you think that's true? Well, what's the cure for that? Well, God has a cure. When you were born, I told you you were an original. When you came out of your mother's womb, you had all the equipment needed right inside you to have a successful life. Let me show you Psalm 139, verse 15. David is speaking. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body, and all the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. If I read that correctly, did you know that God has a book and that you're in it? Can you imagine that God has an original of you, all hidden away in a safe place, woven together? That expression, woven together, David borrowed it from Moses way back in Exodus chapter 26, verse 1 and following. It describes the needlework that was done on the tabernacle and their inner curtains, stitched together by skillful hands for the highest purpose. Just imagine, if you take that analogy and apply it to you, the master weaver selected your personality, those are the threads, and your character, that's the texture, all before you were born. I think old John Knox, he was the founder of the Presbyterian Church many, many years ago in Scotland. He said it this way: every human soul has a complete and perfect plan, cherished for it in the heart of God. It's a divine biography made for you. And when you enter into life to live, this life, rightly unfolded, will be complete, and it'll be beautiful, and it'll be whole. Led on by God and unfolded by his secret nature. You will be more endowed than the trees of the forest and the flowers in the garden. Good for you, John Knox. You got it right. There are some cute translations for that expression, woven together, all the days of your ordained life. Some translations say, you knit me together. It's somebody that's into crocheting. Another translation says, we were woven together in the dark of the womb. Woven together. Another said, I was intricately and curiously wrought, as if embroidered with various colors. Does that describe your personality? All the days ordained for me are in your book. Kind of like that. Maybe it was your eyes. You're an organizer. Because you have good insight, maybe you're the CEO of your corporation. Is that true? Maybe it's your ears. You have a gift for sound. You can play the Stradivarius violin. You've been known to appear in Carnegie Hall. Maybe it's your heart. It beats for justice and fairness. And you're listening to me and you're a lawyer. And that's what you practice on your job. Maybe it's your mind. You know physics and you know algebra. And because you've got that scientific math background, you'd make a great teacher. Are you listening to me and you're a teacher? That was all in God's book. Maybe it's your fingers. You're a surgeon. Or you have powerful legs. You play in the National Hockey League. You're a hockey player. Everything God wants you to be has been ordained in his book. Søren Kierkegaard, he was the Danish theologian and philosopher. He said the same thing, only he said it this way. At each man's birth, there comes into being an eternal vocation for him, expressly just for him. To be true to himself in relationship to this eternal vocation is the highest thing that a man can practice. Do you ever thank God for the job you have and the skills you have and how you go about doing your job? Do you ever thank him for that? You might want to think about that. We live in a day of mass production. We mass produce cars, computers, cans of soup, trousers, Coca-Cola. In God's mind, you are not prefab. You're not mass-produced. You're not a cookie-cutter product. In Proverbs 21:5, it says, I make all things new. Paul said in Ephesians 6:8, remember that the Lord will give you a reward to everyone for doing good. I will make all things new. Have you done good? Let me tell you about somebody who didn't do good. His life began disadvantaged. His mother was married 3 times. His father, the child, was the son of her 3rd marriage, her husband. He died of a heart attack before the child was born. His mother was forced to work long hours, and from his earliest childhood, the boy received no affection. He had no love. He got no discipline, and he got no training. He could never call her at work. She wouldn't let him. He dropped out of school in the 3rd year of his high school. He heard that the Marine Corps could build men. Well, he wanted to be a man, so he joined the Marine Corps. His problems didn't go away. He was laughed at. As a young recruit, he was ridiculed. He fought back. He resisted authority. And in the end, he was court-martialed. He was thrown out of the Marines. Here is a young man, early 20s, balding, no talent, no skill, no sense of worthiness, didn't even have a driver's license. He decided to run, leave his problems behind. He fled the United States and he went to Russia. He married a girl who was an illegitimate child. Brought her back to the States, bore him 2 children, and then the marriage crumbled. Living alone was like a private nightmare. He finally got a job, and he got a job in a bookstore storage building. One morning, when he woke up, he was a strangely different man. He took down a rifle that he had hidden, and he carried it with him to his new job there in the book deposit building. And from a window on the 3rd floor of that building, shortly after noon, November the 22nd, 1963, he sent 2 shells crashing into the head of the President of the United States, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Lee Harvey Oswald, the rejected, the unlovable failure, killed the man who, more than any other man on earth, embodied success, wealth, and family affection that he had lacked. Remember that the Lord will give a reward to everyone for doing good. Here was a man who did no good. Let me tell you about someone else who did. Have you ever heard of the Inquisition? It was a powerful office set up within the Catholic Church back in the Middle Ages. And it was set up to root out and punish heretics throughout Europe during those dark ages. It began in the 12th century and it continued for more than 200 years. Innocent people were severely punished and they were tortured. It started in France, spread to Spain, Went to Portugal. Well, in Spain alone, there are over 32,000 executions. Simon Perines was arrested by the Inquisition. It was in the 17th century. He was thrown into a dungeon cell. He had no lawyer, no defense. He was found guilty because they told him he was. Could not make a plea. You were declared guilty, no release. He was sentenced to be burned at the stake. How would you feel if that was the end of your life? Because people in those days could squeal on each other. They could tell a nasty story about somebody that was innocent and say, he's a heretic. They'd be arrested and into jail they'd go. And there they would die. This man lingered in his cell. It was dark. It was damp. It was full of rats and bugs. Simon Perines, in life, was a portrait painter. He longed to have his easel and his paints at his side for his last days on earth. He wanted to paint, just to pass the time. No paint, no easel, no canvas. Then he got an idea. He took some clay from the floor of his cell. And when the food was pushed through the hole in the stone wall, he didn't eat it all. He took some, and then he began to mix it with the mud that he got from the floor, and he mixed it with spit from his voice. Then he took the fragments of cloth and bits of string and straw from his clothes and from his blanket, and he made for himself a paintbrush. He didn't have a canvas, so guess what he painted? He painted the door on his cell. The inside door of his cell became his canvas for his new paint, portrait. Slowly, professionally, he mixed more food with more clay and with more spit. On that cell door, there began to emerge a picture. It was a portrait. He had always wanted to portray a picture of Jesus' mother holding the baby. Way back when he was back in his studio with his canvas and all his paint, but he didn't feel worthy. I can't do that. That's the mother of God. Others have tried it, but not me. I haven't got it within me. I'm not even worthy to paint Jesus' mother. Here in the dungeon, what do you have to lose? He's going to die anyway. Nobody will see it. I'll give it a try. As he painted, he never felt so much at ease. He felt so relaxed. While he was painting other portraits in his lifetime, he got often get nervous and he'd wonder if he made a mistake. He didn't get nervous. He didn't make any mistakes. It just seemed to flow on him. Every little touch that he made just seemed to be spot on. But in the dark shadow of that year, 1667, Simon Perines, he fashioned a portrait of Jesus' mother holding the baby on that cell door, and it was life-size, the which the world had never seen. The day of his execution came. Soldiers opened the cell door with a key, and the door flung open. Two priests accompanying the soldiers, they saw the portrait on the face of the cell door. Quickly, they motioned to the soldiers to stand back. They came closer. One priest, he fell on his knees, staring at the figure of Mary holding the baby. Once the soldiers had seen this, one of them was sent back to the cathedral to bring in the bishop. The bishop of the city has to come and see this. When he came, he saw the portrait, and he said to Simon Perrines, "Who did this?" Simon said, "God did." The bishop said, "Don't get smart with me. God can't do this. Who came in and did this? God has no means to paint." Simon said, "God gave me the means. He painted it, but he used these hands. These hands did that." Simon Perrines was told by the bishop, "Young man, you have seen a heavenly vision. I am now going to declare you innocent. Go. Soldiers, set this man free." Discovery class, that's an original. And that original is in all of us. Go and paint your original. Remember that you're one of a kind. Each of us has all the skills of Simon Perrines. Original. The Bible says that you were woven. You were ordained. Your name is written in the Lord's book. That should cause you to sing. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a wonderful day. I have a wonderful feeling. Everything's going my way. Now you leave the class and you get out there, and I want you to practice your original. And don't let anyone laugh at you, and don't let anyone put you down. You have something to give. Give it. Well, the clock on the wall is past. I'll see you next week. Come on back. I'll be watching for you.